brought 4 girls to him. 4. I knew what would happen to them because it happened to me first. I knew about the massage table, the way his hands moved, the cash in the white envelope afterward. I knew about the cameras hidden in the walls. I knew everything and I still did it. My name doesn't matter. It's not my real name anymore anyway. I changed it legally in 2020 after the trials, after the testimonies, after my face was everywhere. But back then, when I was 14, I was just another girl at a public school in Palm Beach County wearing Old Navy clearance jeans and eating alone in the cafeteria because my shoes came from Walmart and everyone could tell. That's when Lauren found me. It was a Saturday afternoon at the Gardens Mall food court. I was drinking a small Sprite, refilled 3 times because I only had money for one, doing homework at one of those sticky tables near the bathrooms. She slid into the seat across from me like we were already friends. Coach bag, fresh manicure, jeans that actually fit. She was maybe 16 and she smiled at me like she'd been looking for me specifically. "Those are cute," she said, pointing at my shoes. They were knockoff Vans from Payless. I knew she knew they were fake. "You go to Royal Palm?" I nodded. My throat was tight. Pretty girls didn't talk to me. "Cool, I'm Lauren. Listen, this is random, but do you want to make $200 like today?" I should have said no. I should have gotten up and left, but you need to understand something about $200 when you're 14 and your electricity has been shut off twice that year. When your mom works double shifts at Denny's and still can't make rent. When you haven't had new clothes in 2 years. $200 wasn't just money. It was power. It was breathing room. It was proof you mattered. "Doing what?" I asked. "Easy stuff. There's this guy. He's older, kind of weird, but totally harmless. He likes massages. You just rub his feet, maybe his shoulders. He talks a lot, an hour tops. He pays cash." She said it so casually, like babysitting, like mowing a lawn. "I do it all the time," she continued. "It's how I got this." She touched her Coach bag. "He's helped a bunch of girls, paid for my friend's mom's hospital bill once. He's actually super generous if he likes you." The way she said, "if he likes you," made something in my stomach twist. But $200. My mom's birthday was in 3 days and I had nothing to give her. Nothing. "Is it safe?" I asked. Lauren laughed. "I wouldn't bring you if it wasn't. I'll drive you. I'll wait outside the whole time. If you're uncomfortable, we leave. Promise." That promise. God, I held on to that promise. 20 minutes later, I was in her car, a Honda Civic that smelled like vanilla air freshener and cigarettes. Pop music on the radio. She was coaching me while she drove, casual, like she was explaining how to waitress. "He's going to ask about school, your family. Just be normal, friendly. He likes girls who can hold a conversation." "What kind of massage?" I asked. "Whatever you're comfortable with. Start with shoulders. He might ask for legs, feet. Some girls do back. You decide. Seriously, it's chill." We drove east toward the ocean into neighborhoods I'd only seen from the outside. The houses got bigger, the lawns got greener, and then we turned onto a street with a gate, and Lauren had a code. She had a code to this place. The driveway was longer than my entire street. There were royal palms lining both sides, perfectly spaced. Statues, actual marble statues, flanked the entrance. The house was pink stucco, Spanish tile roof, 3 stories, with balconies and arched windows and more square footage than I could process. I'd never seen wealth like this. Not in person. "Holy shit," I whispered. "Right?" Lauren grinned. "He's loaded. Used to work in finance or something." She parked near the side entrance, not the front door, the side, like staff. "He knows you're coming," she said, checking her lip gloss in the mirror. "Just ring the bell. Sarah will answer. She's the house manager. She'll take you to him." "Wait, you're not coming?" "He doesn't like multiple people around when he's relaxing, but I'll be right here. Text me if you need anything." She handed me her phone number on a scrap of paper. "Seriously, you're going to be fine. An hour from now, you'll have $200 and wonder why you were nervous." I got out of the car. My legs felt strange. The air smelled like jasmine and chlorine. I could hear the ocean somewhere beyond the walls. I rang the bell. A woman answered, 50s, gray hair in a tight bun, polo shirt with an embroidered logo. She looked like someone's aunt. "You must be the new girl," she said, not unkindly. "Come in." The foyer had marble floors, a chandelier the size of a car, paintings on the walls that looked important. Everything echoed. "He's upstairs," Sarah said. "Second door on the left. Fresh towels are already set up." She walked away before I could ask anything. I climbed the stairs. My heart was hammering. The hallway was lined with photos, him shaking hands with famous people, a president, a prince, celebrities I recognized from TV, all smiling, all normal. Second door on the left, I knocked. A voice inside said, "Come in." The room was bright, too bright. White walls, white tile, massive windows overlooking the pool. And in the center, a professional massage table with crisp white towels folded on top. He was standing by the window. Shorter than I expected. Maybe 5'9". Polo shirt, khaki pants, wire rimmed glasses, thinning hair. He looked like someone's dad, like a high school principal. Harmless. "You must be Lauren's friend," he said, smiling. "Thanks for coming on short notice. I'm Jeffrey." He didn't shake my hand. He just gestured to the table. "I've been traveling all week," he said, already unbuttoning his shirt. "My back is destroyed. Lauren said you're good with your hands." I wasn't. I'd never given a massage in my life, but I nodded. He lay face down on the table. I could see everything, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I just pressed and rubbed, trying to mimic what I'd seen in movies. "That's nice," he murmured. "You're a natural. How old are you?" 14. "Freshman?" "Yeah." "What's your favorite subject?" "English, I guess." "Smart girl. You like to read?" We talked. Normal stuff, books, school, my mom. He asked about my mom a lot, where she worked, if she was single, if money was tight. I answered because it felt rude not to, because he sounded interested, because no adult ever asked me these things. Then he said, "Can you do the legs?" I hesitated. He turned his head to look at me. "It's okay," he said gently. "It's therapeutic. Just the calves and thighs. I'll guide you." So I did the legs. Then the feet. He made small sounds of approval, told me I had a gift, that most girls were too timid, but I had confidence. 15 minutes passed, maybe 20. I started to relax. This was weird, but it wasn't dangerous. It was just a massage. Lauren was right. Then he said, "Okay, I'm going to turn over." He turned onto his back. And he was looking at me now, fully, with those pale blue eyes. "Keep going," he said. "Chest and arms." I did. My hands on his chest, his stomach. He was breathing slowly, watching me. Then he took my hand and moved it lower, onto his thigh, then higher. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're doing great." I froze. My brain stopped. My body stopped. I wasn't there anymore. I was above myself, watching this happen to someone else. His hand guided mine. He didn't force me. That's the thing. He didn't hold me down or threaten me. He just guided gently. And my hand followed because I didn't know how to make it stop. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I didn't do anything. Time stretched. It could have been 2 minutes or 20. I don't remember. I remember the texture of the towel under my other hand. I remember the sound of the pool filter outside. I remember his breathing. When it was over, he stood up, casual, and walked to a drawer. He pulled out an envelope, white, unsealed. He counted out bills. $300. "You were great," he said, handing it to me. "Really mature. Most girls are nervous the first time, but you're different. You're natural." I took the money. I don't know why. My hands just took it. "Lauren will drive you home," he said, pulling his pants back on. "I want to see you again. Maybe next week, same time." I nodded. I don't remember deciding to nod, but I did. He walked me to the door, opened it, friendly, polite. "Oh, and this is between us, okay?" People wouldn't understand. They'd make it weird, but it's not weird, right? It's just helping someone relax. That's all. I walked downstairs. Sarah wasn't anywhere. I walked out the side door. Lauren was in the car, scrolling her phone. She looked up, smiled. See? Easy money. She drove me home. We listened to music. She asked if I wanted to get Starbucks. I said no. She dropped me off in front of my apartment complex. Same time next week, she asked. I said, okay. I walked inside. My mom was asleep on the couch, still in her Denny's uniform. I put $200 on the kitchen counter. I kept the extra 100. I went to my room and sat on my bed and stared at the wall. I didn't cry. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even fully understand what had happened. He didn't hurt me in the way I understood hurt. He paid me. He said I was mature. He said I was different. I went back the next week and the week after that. By the third visit, things escalated. By the fourth, he took photos. He had a camera, professional, expensive, and he positioned me, casual poses at first, on the massage table by the window, then less casual. He'd suggest I remove my shirt, just for the photos, he'd say. Artists have done this for centuries. It's about capturing youth and beauty. You're so photogenic. I did what he asked every time because by then I needed the money. My mom had stopped asking where it came from. She just took it. The lights stayed on. The fridge had food. We didn't talk about it. By the fifth visit, a woman was there. Tall, British accent, elegant in a way I'd only seen in magazines. Her name was Ghislaine. She called me darling. She taught me how to use massage oil properly. She showed me pressure points. She told me I had potential, that Jeffrey saw something special in me. She normalized it. That's what she did. 2 hands are better than one, she'd say. It's just body work, darling. In Europe, this is completely normal. Sometimes she participated. Sometimes she just watched. Sometimes she left, and it was just him and me. Leather. There was a bedroom in the back. Ghislaine ordered me shrimp cocktail and taught me how to use the little fork. I felt so sophisticated, so adult. The island was small, maybe 70 acres, white sand beaches, palm trees, a main house painted blue and white like something from the Mediterranean, guest villas scattered around the property, staff quarters, a pool, a gym, a library. It looked like paradise. There were other girls there when I arrived, maybe 6 or 7, ages 14 to 19, American, Eastern European, one from South America. We didn't talk much about how we got there. There was this unspoken rule: you didn't ask. You didn't compare stories. You just existed in this weird bubble where everything was normal and nothing was normal at the same time. The days had a rhythm: breakfast on the terrace at 9, fresh fruit, pastries, coffee that tasted better than anything I'd ever had. Sunbathing by the pool, swimming in waters so clear you could see your toes on the bottom, movies in the theater room, plush recliners, popcorn machine, films that were still in theaters, dinners with cloth napkins and wine. On glasses, sparkling cider for us, wine for him and Ghislaine and whatever guests were visiting. Some of those guests were famous: politicians, actors, business people whose faces I recognized from magazines. They'd smile at us, make small talk, ask about school, act like this was all completely normal. A bunch of teenage girls on a private island with a 50-something financier. And then at night, he'd summon you. A staff member would knock on your villa door. Jeffrey would like to see you. You'd go to the main house, to his bedroom, and you do what you were there to do. There was no schedule for leaving, no ferry times, no phone that could call out, just an internal system. You left when he decided you left. One girl, I think her name was Maria, said she was sick on day 3. She wanted to go home. Ghislaine smiled, warm, maternal, and said, "Of course, darling, we'll arrange the plane." The plane never came. Not that day, not the next. Maria stopped asking. She stayed another 4 days, and when she finally left, she was silent. She never spoke about it. Publicly, none of us did for years. That's when I understood the island wasn't just isolated geographically, it was isolated legally, socially, psychologically. He recorded everything. Cameras in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the hallways. We didn't see them then, but investigators found them later. Hours and hours of footage. That footage wasn't just for him. It was insurance. If you ever talked, if you ever went to the police, he had evidence that you'd participated, that you'd smiled, that you'd seemed willing. Never mind that we were children. Never mind that we were trapped. On camera, it looked consensual. And he made sure we knew the tapes existed. Not directly. He never said, I'm recording you, but Ghislaine would mention it casually. Jeffrey keeps such detailed records of everything. He's so meticulous. She'd say it while filing her nails or sipping tea, and you'd understand. You'd know. I went to the island 3 times that year. Each time I came back quieter, smaller. I stopped seeing friends. I stopped doing homework. My grades collapsed. But it didn't matter because he'd promised to take care of college. He'd promised to take care of everything. Then, 6 months after Lauren first brought me to that house, Ghislaine made me an offer. We were sitting by the pool in Palm Beach, just the two of us. She was wearing oversized sunglasses and a wide brimmed hat, drinking iced tea. You're one of the special ones, she said. Jeffrey adores you, but you could do more than just visit. You could help. Help how? Bring us other girls. Girls like you, smart, discreet, mature, girls who need opportunities. She said it like she was offering me a promotion. There are so many young women struggling, she continued. Single mothers, financial hardship, no guidance. You could change their lives, and Jeffrey would compensate you, of course. 200 per girl, plus your regular arrangement. I didn't say yes right away. I think I said no. Actually, I remember shaking my head. But Ghislaine was patient. Think about it, darling. You'd be helping them, giving them what you have: security, mentorship, a future. She reframed it as charity, as sisterhood, as rescue. And God help me, part of me believed her. But that's not the whole truth. That's the version I told myself for years, the version that let me sleep at night. Here's the real reason I said yes: money. $200 per girl meant I could pay my mom's rent for months. I could buy groceries without counting every dollar. I could stop feeling like a burden. Status. If I was recruiting, I wasn't just a victim anymore. I wasn't just something that happened to. I had a role. I was useful. I mattered in a different way. Safety. I thought if I was valuable, if I was helping him, he'd protect me. He wouldn't discard me like he did the girls who caused problems, the ones who cried too much or asked to go home, and the ugliest reason, the one I can barely say out loud. If it was happening to other girls too, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe this was just what powerful men did, and we were lucky to benefit from it. That's what trauma does. It distorts your morality until the unthinkable becomes logical. The first girl I brought was named Stephanie. She was in my algebra class. Quiet, glasses, shoes even cheaper than mine. I watched her for 2 weeks before I approached. I noted that she ate lunch alone, that her backpack was falling apart, that she never bought anything from the vending machines. I became Lauren. I sat next to her in the cafeteria, complimented her hair, asked about her family. She had a single mom too, dad in prison, 2 younger brothers. She was drowning, just like I had been. I gave her the exact same pitch Lauren gave me. Easy money, harmless old guy, just a massage. She hesitated, just like I had. And I promised her, just like Lauren promised me, that it was safe, that I'd drive her, that I'd wait outside. I used the Coach bag Ghislaine bought me. I wore the clothes he paid for. I smiled with the confidence that comes from having money in your pocket. And she said yes. I drove her to the house in the Honda Civic, the one Ghislaine had bought for me after I'd helped enough times. I gave her the same coaching. Be friendly. Start with shoulders. He's generous if he likes you. I waited outside for an hour. When she came out, she looked exactly like I must have looked. Dazed, confused, clutching an envelope. See? I said, voice bright. Easy money. She didn't answer. She stared out the window the whole drive home. I collected my $200 the next day, cash in a white envelope just like always. The second girl was easier. Her name was Jessica, 15, foster care. She'd been bounced between homes for years, no stability, no family who cared. When I approached her with the offer, she barely hesitated. $200 meant new shoes, a phone, things other kids had. I brought her the following week, same routine, same coaching, same promises. The third girl was named Amber. Cheerleader, popular, but her dad had lost his job and her family was about to lose their house. She needed money fast, a lot of it. I told her Jeffrey was generous with girls he really liked, that some girls made thousands. She went back 5 times. The fourth girl, I don't remember her name. That's the truth. I've tried to remember. I've spent hours in therapy trying to pull it from my memory, but it's gone. I know she was young, maybe 13. I know she had dark hair. I know I picked her up at a bus stop, but I can't remember her name. That haunts me more than anything else. I brought 4 girls over the next year, 4 lives I altered forever. I knew what would happen to them. I knew about the escalation, the photos, the islands. I knew everything because it had happened to me, and I did it anyway. I'm 32 now. 18 years since Lauren approached me in that food court. I've been out longer than I was in, but I'm still not free. In 2006, the parents of another girl, not when I recruited someone else, went to the police. They'd found cash in her room, new clothes. She'd finally broken down and told them everything. Once the investigation started, they found the rest of us. Detectives started calling, interviewing, asking questions. I lied at first, said it was just massages, professional massages, legal. I was 17 by then, and I thought I'd go to jail if I told the truth. I thought I was a criminal too. The detective was a woman in her mid 40s, patient, kind. She didn't push. She just sat across from me in that beige interrogation room and waited. Finally, she said, "You're not in trouble. You were a child when this started. 14 years old. That's a child." A child. I'd never thought of myself that way. I was mature. I was different. That's what everyone told me, but I was 14. 14. I broke. I told her everything that happened: the room with the table, the camera, the islands, Ghislaine, the other girls I saw there, but I didn't tell her about the recruiting. I couldn't. The shame was stronger than the fear. I testified about what happened to me. I gave them dates, locations, details, but I kept the worst part secret. In 2008, Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to 2 state charges: soliciting an unlawful act from a minor. That's what the document said. We were children, some as young as 14, but the legal system used different words. He got 13 months in county jail. Private wing, work release 6 days a week. He went to his office during the day and slept in jail at night. 13 months. The plea deal was negotiated by Alexander Acosta, then the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Later, he became Secretary of Labor under President Trump. The deal was done in secret. Victims weren't consulted. We found out from the news. Years later, we learned this violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act. A federal judge ruled the prosecution had broken the law by hiding the agreement from us. But by then, it was too late. Epstein had already served his time. I felt insane, like I'd imagined everything. Like maybe it wasn't that bad if he only got a year. Maybe I was just a stupid girl who misunderstood everything. He got out in July 2009, and he continued. New victims, new girls, new flights to the island. It's all documented now. He didn't stop. The system gave him permission to continue, and he did. I spiraled. Substances, abusive relationships. I couldn't hold a job. I couldn't let anyone touch me. I couldn't be in bright rooms. People asked what was wrong with me, why I seemed so lost. But I couldn't explain without telling the story, and I couldn't tell the story because I was still living inside it. Then in July 2019, he was arrested again. Federal charges in New York: trafficking, conspiracy. The story exploded. His face was everywhere. News outlets dug up old photos. Survivors started coming forward publicly. Ghislaine went into hiding, and I had to make a choice: stay silent about what I did or tell everything. I contacted the Department of Justice through a victim advocate. I disclosed that I brought 4 girls into that world. I gave names, dates, details, everything I could remember. They granted me immunity in exchange for testimony. Legally, I was a victim. I was 14 when it started. I was groomed, manipulated, coerced. The law recognizes that I couldn't consent. But morally, I don't know what I am. August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found deceased in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. The official ruling was that he'd taken his own life. The circumstances were suspicious. Cameras malfunctioned. Guards fell asleep. His cellmate had been transferred. The autopsy showed injuries that some experts questioned, though others disagreed. I don't care which. Honestly, He took the easy way out. Either way, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested in July 2020 at a remote property in New Hampshire. She'd been hiding for a year. Her trial was in late 2021. I testified. I sat in that courtroom and looked at her. This woman I'd once thought was glamorous and powerful. She looked small, ordinary, just a woman who chose power over protecting children. The prosecution presented evidence, flight logs, photographs, testimony from victim after victim, girls who were 14, 15, 16 when she brought them to him, girls she groomed personally, girls she told were special. She was convicted on 5 counts, including trafficking of minors, 20 years in prison. She's currently appealing. It should have felt like justice. It didn't. It felt empty because he was dead, because so many enablers were never charged, because the system that protected him is still intact. Epstein's estate was valued at over $600 million when he died. A victim compensation fund was established in 2020. Over 150 women applied. I was one of them. The process was brutal. You had to prove your abuse, provide documentation, relive everything in written statements. A mediator reviewed each claim and assigned a monetary value based on the severity and duration of abuse. I received a payment. The amount is confidential per the agreement. People ask if the money helps. Well, I don't know. How much is 14 supposed to cost? I'm in therapy twice a week. PTSD, complex trauma, moral injury. That last one is specific. It's the psychological damage from violating your own moral code, from doing things that go against who you believe you are. I changed my name legally. I moved across the country. I cut ties with almost everyone from my old life. I'm estranged from my mother. She knew something was wrong back then, but the money was too important to ask questions. When everything came out, she was angry, not at him, but at me, for not telling her, for making her complicit, for ruining the financial stability she'd finally found. We haven't spoken in 4 years. I work with an anti-trafficking organization now. I teach people how to recognize grooming. I know how predators think because I became one. I know the tactics because I use them. Stephanie, the first girl I brought, won't speak to me. She was part of the victim compensation process too. She knows I came forward. She knows I testified. She knows I tried to make it right, but she can't forgive me. I don't blame her. I can't forgive me either. Two of the others are part of the victim compensation fund. I see their names on documents sometimes. We've never contacted each other. What would we even say? One I lost track of entirely. I don't know if she's alive. I search for her name sometimes late at night, terrified of what I'll find, terrified I won't find anything at all. There are women all over the world who survived Jeffrey Epstein. Some have come forward, most haven't. I understand both choices. People want to know how this happened, how a man like him got away with it for decades, how girls stayed silent, how some of us became part of the machine. Here's the truth. It wasn't one monster, it was a system. Hundreds of people enabled him. Pilots who flew us to the island knew how old we were. They saw us. They said nothing. Accountants who processed payments knew what the money was for. Lawyers who threatened victims with lawsuits, who buried evidence, who negotiated sweetheart plea deals. Cops who took reports and didn't investigate, who looked at young girls and saw criminals instead of victims. Prosecutors who made deals in secret, who valued a billionaire's future over children's safety. Politicians who took donations, who visited the islands, who knew and did nothing because power protects power. Staff at his properties, housekeepers who changed sheets, drivers who picked up girls, security who monitored cameras, and girls like me, so who learned that survival sometimes looks like complicity. Lauren, the girl who recruited me, was never charged. I don't know where she is now. The prosecutor said they couldn't find enough evidence of her intent. She was 16 when she brought me. Legally, she was a minor. Two, another victim who became a perpetrator. I hope she's okay. I hope she's found a way to live with it because I haven't. I was 14 when Lauren sat across from me at that sticky food court table and smiled. I'm 32 now, 18 years free. And I still can't sit in bright rooms. I still can't let anyone touch me without warning. I still see his face when I close my eyes. The girl who recruited me was named Lauren, but also her name was Ghislaine and Jeffrey. and every adult who knew and did nothing, every system that valued money and power over children's bodies and futures. And me, her name was me. We recruited each other into hell, and some of us are still there, and we will be for the rest of our lives. That's the story. That's the truth. All of it. Even the parts I'm ashamed of, especially those parts, because if I don't tell it, who will?